Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving deep into something um, really foundational. It shapes every single day of our lives, whether you're in a massive factory, a corporate office, or you're just logging on from home. We're talking about industrial work design and organization.
It sounds a bit dry, doesn't it, that title?
It does. It sounds like a really bureaucratic thing,
Yeah.
but it's really about the invisible architecture of our work.
Mhm.
It's the framework for how jobs are structured, how processes flow.
And how entire organizations are actually built. It decides not just efficiency, but, and this is critical, the human side of things. Stress, motivation, burnout,
Mm,
it all ties back to design.
right.
And you know what's fascinating is that work design is a huge strategic necessity. It's not just some HR thing you deal with later.
So if you get it right, you get a real competitive edge.
Exactly. And when organizations get it wrong, they suffer these, well, immediate and really painful consequences.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to trace how these systems evolved. We're going from those really rigid controlling structures of the early factories, classic Fordism,
All the way up to today's flexible, tech-driven models, things like agile teams, lean manufacturing.
and let's say, the more nebulous challenges of what we call post-Fordism. We really need to look at the historical blueprints to get why companies work the way they do now.
And it's so interdisciplinary, as you said. I mean, to really get it, you have to pull from operations management for the efficiency side.
The optimization software.
Yeah, but you also need organizational psychology to understand what motivates people, and then organizational theory to grasp the power dynamics, manager and worker.
And the application is it's everywhere. It's massive. We're
Yep.
talking about everything from designing the flow of those enormous Amazon warehouses.
To figuring out team-based healthcare in a hospital. It's where structure meets psychology, really.
So let's talk about the stakes. Good design versus bad design.
Well, if we look at the strategic side, good design is all about outcomes. Take efficiency. Well-designed systems are lean, they cut down on delays, and they improve consistency. And we have some amazing examples today.
Like Amazon.
Amazon Logistics is the perfect modern case study. They use advanced AI and robotics to choreograph how humans and machines work together.
I've seen videos of this. It's incredible.
It is. The sources point out that workstations are ergonomically designed to cut down on fatigue, and the picking paths workers take are constantly being optimized in real time.
So it's not just about moving boxes.
Not at all. It's about micro-optimizing every single second of every human movement, and that alone saves millions every year just by cutting out a few unnecessary steps.
That sounds like optimization perfection, but I can already, feel the human cost starting to creep in there.
It does. And the flip side, the cost of poor design is often just chaos and exhaustion. Vague responsibilities, tasks that are purely repetitive.
Or the opposite, right? A huge workload with no clear structure.
And all of that leads directly to burnout, disengagement, and of course, high turnover.
Can you give us a concrete example of that negative side?
We see it a lot in, say, high-stress, information-heavy places like the NHS, when you have clinicians bogged down by manual data entry or unclear reporting lines.
They're not doing what they're trained to do.
Exactly. Patient care slows down, and their stress just skyrockets. They're spending time on administrative waste, not their core work. But when they redesign those flows, like using lean principles in A&E triage, they see immediate improvements.
The whole system becomes less stressful to navigate.
Right. And that means design really determines whether you're responsive or just rigid. Tesla is often held up as the gold standard for responsiveness today.
Why is that?
Their production lines are modular and digitally integrated, so you have these cross-functional teams solving problems using real-time data from the factory floor itself. They aren't waiting for a monthly report to find a problem.
The system is designed to stop and alert them immediately.
Yes, good design enables that kind of instant adaptation, which you absolutely need when technology and the market are shifting so fast.
So let's rewind a bit. Let's trace how we got here, so obsessed with optimization and control. Before the Industrial Revolution, work was just fundamentally different.
Oh, completely. Think about the 1700s. It was all craft-based.
The cobbler made the entire shoe. The carpenter built the whole chair.
And crucially, those workers had a huge amount of autonomy. They had mastery over the whole task from start to finish. The pace was set by them, or by daylight, or the seasons.
Work and home were all mixed together.
Integrated, yeah. Then comes the big shift. Around 1750, you get centralized factories, mechanization, and labor is all segmented.
And you lose that mastery of the whole thing. You're introduced to the clock.
Time discipline. The machine sets the pace, not you. And that led to this profound de-skilling and, alienation from what you were actually making.
Which sets the stage for Taylor.
That new factory reality was the perfect stage for scientific management, or Taylorism. It was pioneered by Frederick Winslow Taylor in the late 19th, early 20th centuries. He wanted to apply pure science to every single task.
Take all the guesswork out of it.
That's it. His core principles are still so foundational. The first one, time and motion studies. He literally stand there with a stopwatch to find the one single optimal way to do something. He measured everything.
I love that anecdote from the sources about the shovel. It's almost absurd, but it illustrates it so well.
It's perfect. He literally studied coal shovelers and figured out that the ideal weight of a shovel load was 21 pounds.
Wait, 21 pounds exactly.
Exactly. So if the coal was denser, he ordered a smaller shovel. If it was lighter, a larger one. This had nothing to do with empowering the worker. It was about maximum energy for maximum output.
He took all the human variation, all the judgment, out of the equation.
Precisely. Which leads to his second principle, standardization, making sure everyone did that 21-pound movement the exact same way, breaking work into tiny, repeatable units.
And the third, and maybe the most controlling piece, was the separation of planning and doing.
Yes. Managers plan, workers execute. No deviation. Control and knowledge shift entirely away from the person on the floor.
And it worked, didn't it, in terms of output?
It generated massive, undeniable efficiency gains. And its legacy is still the bedrock for logistics, fast food, you name it. But the criticism is just as strong. It's monotonous. It's dehumanizing. It assumes the worker is just a cog.
And then Henry Ford took Taylor's ideas and, well, put them on wheels.
He physically manifested them in 1913. Fordism and the mechanized assembly line. Ford combined Taylor's science with a moving product.
The famous idea that the product moves, the workers stay still.
Right, performing these tiny, repetitive tasks over and over, and the Model T could be built in just 90 minutes. That enabled mass production, affordable goods, for the very first time.
The world had never seen anything like that kind of speed and scale. But the trade-off was huge. Rigidity was king.
The famous quote, "You can have any color as long as it's black."
You got uniformity in volume, but zero customization, and just tremendous worker alienation. It was the industrial default for decades.
But that rigidity just couldn't last forever.
Right. By the 70s and 80s, the market was saturated. People wanted choice, variety, customization, and technology, specifically IT and robotics, made that flexibility possible.
And that's the era of post-Fordism.
The big shift from rigid mass production to flexible, adaptive systems.
Exactly. Customization replaces standardization. And that requires a new kind of worker, the knowledge worker.
White-collar work, design, software. Success suddenly depends on autonomy and problem-solving, not just repeating a motion. The benefit is you get agility and innovation, which Fordism could never deliver.
But, and this is the crucial trade-off, you see it everywhere today, post-Fordism fixed the rigidity problem, but it often introduced precarity and insecurity.
How so?
Well, with the growth of outsourcing, short-term contracts, and that always-on nature of digital work-life boundaries just blur, and that increases mental health risks, burnout, even if you theoretically have more autonomy.
But wait, hang on. If the worker has more autonomy and less micromanagement, shouldn't stress go down? Why do the sources say burnout risk actually goes up?
That's a great question. It's because the autonomy is often paired with way more responsibility, but without any increased security. In a Fordist system, your job was secure, even if it was boring as hell. In post-Fordism, your role might be more fulfilling, but you're expected to self-manage this demanding workload 24/7, and your job might depend on the next short-term contract. The pressure is all internalized.
That sets the stage perfectly for the other massive post-war innovation, lean manufacturing from Toyota.
Yes, the Toyota Production System, or TPS, Lean was developed in Japan after World War II, and it was focused on doing more with less while being relentless about quality.
A huge contrast to the American mass production model at the time.
A stark contrast. It has three major principles. First, just-in-time, or JIT.
Yeah.
You only produce what is needed when it is needed. That eliminates the waste of having huge inventories.
Okay, and the second?
The elimination of waste, or muda, just rooting out any activity that doesn't add value, waiting time, defects, unnecessary motion, all of it.
And the third one, this is the one that's so culturally different from Taylorism, is Kaizen.
Absolutely. Kaizen means continuous improvement. And this is the human-centered part. Every single worker, at every level, is encouraged and expected to suggest and implement small improvements to the process. every day.
That is fundamentally different. In Taylorism, the worker was basically an arm of the machine, told exactly what to do.
Right. In Lean, the worker is a respected problem solver. Lean explicitly values human judgment. Workers are empowered, they're trusted to stop the entire production line if they see a quality issue.
Unthinkable under Fordism.
Completely. They aren't just performing tasks, they're integral to making things better. Lean is arguably the first system that truly integrated efficiency with a respect for human intellect.
So if you look at outcomes today, we're seeing this historical battle play out in modern jobs. There's this direct link between design and productivity.
For sure. Simplification, the Taylorist way, still offers quick efficiency and control, but you've got that risk of boredom and burnout baked right in.
And the modern countermove is job enrichment.
Exactly. Designing roles that have high intrinsic motivation built in. And you do that through specific design elements the sources identify. Things like increasing skill variety, so you use more of your talents.
Giving workers task identity, letting them see the whole finished product.
Yes, and ensuring task significance so they understand their impact, and then providing constant feedback. When you combine those things, you get intrinsic motivation.
People do the work because it feels valuable in itself, not just for the paycheck.
And that's where the long-term performance gains come from. It also leads directly to well-being. Good design means employees stay longer because they feel challenged and supported. Poor design, it just exhausts people and speeds up burnout.
The most immediate, real-world application we've all lived through is the shift to hybrid work.
Yes. We saw this mass redesign of roles to allow for flexible scheduling and remote autonomy. It was basically shedding the last bits of Fordist time discipline.
And the results?
The results from large studies show that for many jobs, that autonomy reduces commute stress, increases job satisfaction, and boosts retention, as long as the design includes clear communication.
Which brings up that crucial question for you, the listener. If the goal is both productivity and fulfillment, where do you draw the line? What parts of your own work or your study feel genuinely energizing, and what parts just drain you?
Because these historical theories are now colliding with some massive modern challenges, things that are fundamentally reshaping the architecture of work.
First up, AI and automation. Algorithms are the new supervisor in logistics, in admin, in customer service.
And the design dilemma is really acute. What's left for humans to do? Will the remaining roles be more complex and fulfilling, or will the tech just automate the easy stuff and leave humans with the hardest, most monitored tasks?
Which leads right to the second challenge, the gig economy.
Platforms like Uber or Deliveroo, they offer huge flexibility to the corporation. They can scale up or down instantly, but often at the cost of worker stability.
It's algorithmic control without a human manager.
Right. You are monitored, rated, and directed by this invisible intelligence, but you lack fundamental security. No sick pay, no sense of organizational belonging.
That lack of belonging feels like the scariest part. It strips the good parts of both Fordism, which was stability, and Lean, team empowerment, and leaves only the control.
It creates this whole new tension. We're moving toward these incredibly complex hybrid systems now. Think of Amazon again. It combines Fordist logistics with this high-control, post-Fordist algorithmic surveillance.
And then you have places like Google, which use high autonomy and team-based structures, a kind of corporate post-Fordism.
And ultimately, the sources all confirm that whether any work system succeeds depends entirely on how well it balances two things: efficiency, getting the work done, and respect for people making the work meaningful. It's the constant management of that tension.
That's a huge synthesis to land on. We've really covered the whole spectrum here, from the rigid control of Taylorism and Fordism through the adaptive principles of Lean and into this flexible but precarious world of post-Fordism. And we've seen how AI and the gig economy are disrupting it all.
And we've established that post-Fordism, well, it solved the problem of manufacturing rigidity, but it created these new personal challenges around stress and precarity. So to leave you with a final thought to chew on, if you were the chief design officer of a major company today and you had to balance efficiency and well-being, you would face this core trade-off head-on. How would you design a basic work system, and what do you value most in work? Is it flexibility, stability, purpose, or pay, and how much are you willing to compromise on the others to get it?